Hi, this is Casey Glass for Worship Synths and Keyboards, and there was a request on one of our Facebook groups for the opening sound that starts off "I Want to Know You" on the Come Away album from Jesus Culture. You'll see a link to a Google or YouTube search for that song below. Sorry, no direct links to copyrighted music, but overall the sound sounds pretty much like this. And so that can be kind of a tricky sound to get your head around. But the more you work on building these sounds, the quicker you'll kind of recognize the key little pieces that go into it. And so what I heard in that sound was really kind of a mono synth line, a lead line really, where the synth was pretty bright, lots of harmonics, a lot of energy there, and then just tons of reverb. In fact, I told the person who posted that probably there was more reverb in that sound that you're hearing than there is actual direct sound of the synth that is kind of leading the sound in the first place. So for this particular patch, there was a request to do it in Omnisphere because we did not have access to MainStage or Logic. Quite frankly, I think it'd be a lot faster to do in Logic, but we're going to do it in Omnisphere. So here we go. We'll make a new track. And I have a preset for Omnisphere, so we'll just pull that up. And we're not going to end up using these buses, so we'll just get rid of them. All right, so let's open Omnisphere. And before we do that, we're going to take this and duplicate it down here, or move it down there, so that we'll have something to listen to. Oh God, I'm sorry about that. That's really loud. So maybe we'll pull our volume slider and Omnisphere down a little bit, and we'll start looking for something to play. So what we can do is in Logic, we can get that playing behind us. And now all we gotta do is kind of start looking for something. So I typed in Airy here. And how did I find that? You could really go anyway. You could go, we'll do preview load so that also we can get these things going. Maybe Air Glass would be good. That's not too bad. That's pretty good. So we're just gonna kind of, I don't like that so much. That's not too bad. Let's see what else we got here. And I think actually at the time I was searching synth mono. And can't remember exactly how I got to the one that I used. So let's see here. Let's see maybe. That was not too bad. Anyway, the one I ended up using was the JD pad. Fat Air JD pad. So maybe I just typed in Air to begin with. So you can see we're already pretty close to what we were hearing before. So it's really just kind of an Omnisphere. I'll stop this for a minute. One of the big challenges of Omnisphere is there's just so much there that you really have to make use of the browser, and you have to have some idea of what you're looking for. Actually, I think I probably did this. I did Airy and Fizzy, and probably came up with Fat Air JD Pad as the first one on the list. And so really you kind of need to know what you're looking for. You have to have some sort of nugget in your brain about what you're going to start with if you're going to go into Omnisphere, unless you're just going to build it from the ground up, which you can certainly do. Matter of fact, we're going to make some changes to this pad. So let me go ahead and start running again. Now, if we come into the edit, there's a couple of things. One, this sound fades in, but with the reverb we're going to use, it's going to fade in even more, so we need to tighten that up. So here we're going to make sure amplifier is selected under envelope. And we're going to turn that down a little bit so it gets a little bit faster on the attack. The other thing we're going to do is we're going to end up drowning this in some reverb. So we're going to just boost the overall gain in this gain knob area. And lastly, we're going to turn the cutoff a little bit so we make sure we get all the high end that's there. Maybe give a little resonance to the filter to also give a little more high end. And then what I did on the other one is we turned on a triangle waveform. And we'll mix that in with our mixer just gently, and we don't want that to hit quite so hard, so we'll boost the time on the attack phase a little bit. That's just going to give us a little bit more high end there. And it's important to have a pretty solid tone here because we're going to send that into the reverb and get some real air going. All right, let's hop over to the effects. So we don't really need this EQ rack. We're going to take that out. And we want to put this one up there, the chorus up, so we have room to add other things. So we're going to copy it and then paste it. All right, we moved it up there. Down here, we got a couple of options. One of my favorite things to do is to just drop in some delay. Okay, the tempo for this song is 140 beats per minute, and I like about eighth note delay. It's fast enough that it's not really noticeable by itself, but not so fast that it gets weird. So again, let's play our loop. And we'll make sure we're feeding back a little bit. And this is just going to build the density of this song and make it less kind of noticeable what's going on. The chorus echo is also delaying a little bit. So we're feeding a delay into a delay, and it should just get kind of muddy and noisy. And that's actually kind of what we're going for here. So let's add down here the last thing we need. And what I told you was the key to this sound is to literally drown it in reverb. So here's our wet dry mix. We're going to take this all the way over to wet. We're going to boost our room size up to big. We're going to take our time and take it up. We don't want to go too long, and I'll go into that again in a minute. Pre-delay we want to be kind of long because that's kind of the other hallmark of this sound is that it's a little bit late on the beat. We're going to take our density up because we want it to be big and thick. We don't need too much lows. We can leave the highs alone. And I think we'll leave the advanced controls pretty much alone. We might boost the diffusion a little bit. All right, let's hear how we got. So that's just kind of out there. If we wanted to, we could take it even farther, throw another verb on there. So now you can kind of hear it back there, but it's really not too much there. Let's turn off one of the verbs. Gets a little more present. Turn off both the verbs. We got even more. There's no instrument effects going on here, so all the rest of that space you hear is the delay. So this is really the raw sound right here, no effects. That's our first round of delay. Second round. Verb. And then another trick you can do in this fourth slot is actually to add some compression. And what that's going to do is keep the tail of the reverb about as loud as the actual reverb itself. And it just builds the density of that sound. So we're pretty close there, and I would say that this would ape the kind of guts of that sound pretty well. The one thing is it might be just a little too bright, so we could drop the cutoff down a little bit. And take that down touch. So that's it. We have just made the kind of lead sound to I Want to Know You from Jesus Culture. Go ahead and play with it. Play with other source sounds for this, and you might be surprised with what you can come up with. Thanks again. It's Casey Glass for Worship Sense.